Well, I'm off for morning tea on request of advice, someone wanting my advice. And I thought, well, that's interesting because that's likely to not be what it's for, isn't it? You got to think deeper than your ego going, okay, I've got to have facts, I've got to have knowledge, well, a certain amount of skill in the delivery, but it's never like that. It's just what's the actual question? What's your actual need here? And what sources have you been looking into to get this, this problem solved? And I have a feeling that it's one of those resistant to change things. A person who's really resistant to change, trying to help someone else change. And that's at the heart of it, isn't it? And there's my friend. Hello, that's so fun. I'm catching up with her this week at the book week. We're going for brunch as well. One of my great friends from school. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, someone who's resistant to change, trying to get someone else to change. Otherwise called a relationship. Hey, a close interpersonal connection seeking. And I have a recent example of that within myself, for someone who's paid for their advice, giving and all that sort of stuff. Wisdom. Oh, come on. I was giving a piece of advice about change, motivating someone to change. Just give it a go. Just give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? All that sort of stuff. And I was sitting there thinking, well, you are resistant to the exact change that you're asking this person to consider. And I don't know, I was just ready to really, really reflect on that because I needed a change. And so in the space of probably another month, which is often how long it takes, just sort of dismiss something and then have it filter back up, inevitably. And I committed to the change, and it was the best thing ever, the best thing for the moment. And what a learning experience it was. Not humbling, not like a hard thing, just going, oh, freedom, bloody freedom from the ties that bind and gag. And so this morning too, there's another grammar friend right behind me. That's funny, as we're right next to grammar, so probably not that strange. They'd be there for all their Saturday morning sports that we don't have to do, thank God. So yeah, this morning tea, I definitely have to defeat my ego and realise that it's not at all about showing off and not at all about knowledge, because everyone has every bit of human knowledge gathered to date right in the palm of their hands. I actually think I'm going to have to convince them to just take a new step forward with getting AI on their phone. And so almost they're going to get what they didn't bargain on, which was me using motivational interviewing to get them to change, and not at all about advice on the other person that they're trying to change. So that probably needs to be prefaced, I think, at the beginning. This isn't going to go how you think it's going to go. You've got a plan in your head, but just be malleable. Same goes for me, of course. If I can direct them towards this a more informed source, I certainly will. But of course, people, that might be the level of resistance we're dealing with. I want the connection. I'm connection seeking. I want to share a human experience. I'm not actually intending to go and do any of that homework, which is 99% of the case. So that's all right. I won't get in the way of any of that. Not my first rodeo, kids. Oh, there's parks everywhere. everywhere. We're going to do a reverse part. Yes, we are. Full of confidence. Don't overthink it. Doop, doop, doop. Cut her in. Doop, doop, doop. Until you go, ah! And you panic. And that's the point where you turn it back in. You just feel it in your guts. And don't overthink it. Look at that. Absolute perfection. Reverse part. Couldn't have got it any better. Like a glove. Alright, tone down my cheek. Let's go and do some connection seeking advice giving. Sharing. No, what I'm going to do is say, no, this is reciprocal. I need your advice too. I'm not here for working for free, mate. It's not pro bono. Oh, I'm a bit early. I'm always early, which I think's not a bad quality to have. It's better than being late or not there at all. So, just bouncing off that last point, about who carries wisdom, right? Young one at work, they do correct you from time to time, genuinely, and you've got it wrong. But this was a funny example of her asking me about a word, a clinical word. What's that mean? What's that about? I heard it wrong. I heard a different word and launched with a fair amount of confidence into a definition, explanation of something that was wrong, the wrong word. And the look on her face was so priceless because she didn't want to sort of disrespect old Willow, but being of, well, her youth and her particular profession, you could read all over her face. And my little mammalian brain's going, warning, 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 what's that face mean? Obviously either she disagrees or all that stuff, but she's like, no, I just Googled it and described the actual definition of the word. So it's so funny that she already Googled it. And as if the internet wouldn't have a better, well, a very good definition of that tricky word. But then she asked me about it. So that was just humbling, and it was a great sort of way to test our newly forming relationship, because it was very important to be an equal, to get on equal footing with somebody you're sharing a space with, and getting a new relationship going, because you've got to acknowledge the mistakes you make and the wisdom that they bring, despite their age differences and everything else. So it was good for me. And of course you get humbled a lot when you're in perimenopause, because your brain, oh my God, totally hears things wrong, but it is for the best. It's a great leveler. And we always have these wild meetings where if everyone else comes in loose, emotional, tangential, then I tighten up and I sort of anchor down with a level of calm, and you're trying to just be, be the voice of wisdom and not be impulsive. But other days, it's me that's just all sort of flinging around confusion and energy that's a bit chaotic, and someone else in the room will just sort of pull it together, hold everyone. So that's how teams work, isn't it? I think I'm almost at the point of accepting. I've been waiting for this new role of mine to sort of, to be awful, horrible, get tapped on the shoulder, all that sort of stuff that I've been living in for a whole decade in my last job. And I've got like just enough breathing room now. A little bit of breathing room. I'm getting my sense of humour back. And just so much more open-minded, not shut down, open to suggestion, making better eye contact, just having that a few minutes of attendance to each person in my space, to hear them, spend a few minutes having some fun, because I was a real miser real bloody killjoy, because I was just so tight, so constricted, so under so much pressure for so long. I shut down all the superfluous, all the extremities parts of my brain, and now I've got more time to be, a team player and have those incidental sort of opportunities, and don't feel like you're wasting time, and you still get heaps of work done as well, and it's just more joyful. So I'm very, very grateful. It just is what it is, but I don't know that I would have this level of appreciation and gratitude and self-esteem and nothing to prove if I didn't do an entire 10 years in the hardest trench of our trenches. I just think no one can ever take that away. I've proven something to myself that's just invaluable. And that doesn't mean that the mistakes stop. They'll probably naturally continue, because it's a different lens, this job. Completely different end goals. So inevitably, you're a lot less guarded with the people that you're talking to, and then they're more relaxed as well, because while you might canvass all the issues that could change, you don't have to be there with them for like 18 months, reiterating everything over and over and over, because I was definitely getting impatient with that. Word of the week, excruciating. There's a few scenarios that have been excruciating, but teach me patience, which I don't have a lot of. Talking to someone with just a foggy brain, like they're literally, searching in the fog to describe something, and it's just excruciating to me, because articulation is not an issue that I have a problem with. My brain goes very fast. All right, let's go and get this morning tea on, be chilled, no expectations. Happy Saturday, everyone. It's a divine day, a little bit nippy up on the mountain. Didn't bring a jumper.